I just wanted to give a little additional information about Florida rights. The main thing is we are looking for effective writing. So here you can see what you're looking for in a well-written piece would be something that the writer involves the reader in such a way that the reader gets into it. They either believe it or they don't believe it, but it hooks them into reading it. And there are some ways that you can kind of know that. Being focused, an organizational pattern, the supporting ideas, and following grammar conventions. So, in other words, the focus of your paper clearly presents and maintains the main idea, the focus point, what you are trying to get across as that person reads from beginning to end. The organizational part is extremely important. That's why planning out your writing becomes so important. What's going to be the beginning? What will be the middle? What will be the end? How can I hook them? How can I get them interested right off the bat? And how do I bring it to a solid conclusion at the end? Does everything fit together? That comes within your supporting details. The details that clearly belong to the main idea. If your main idea is to talk about your summer vacation, then it may not entail or include something about your mathematical assignment on the last week of school. It may or may not. If it does, you've got to make it very clear. But if it's talking about your summer vacation, then you may want to include those key points of, this is what made my vacation so fantastic, and make sure everything points to that fantastic vacation. Everything you use to support it, clarify it, or define it supports it. And the last thing in making an excellent piece of writing is looking at just general conventions, naming conventions, punctuation, capitalization, spelling, sentence structure, everything that you know to be the very basic right and wrong of your grammar, mechanics, and that sort of thing. In your paper, well, I'll speak to that in the next slide, so I'm going to move on. This is how it's scored. It's on a 6-point scale, 6 points being the best. Your paper is focused, purposeful. It sticks with the main idea. You don't veer off and talk about, I had to chase my dog down the street when you were talking about your summer vacation in the mountains. So you want to stay right with the main idea, being organized, expressive, using wonderful adjectives, and making your words just jump off the page. Every sentence doesn't say, he likes this, he did that, he was there. Every sentence, make it a variety, and few, if any errors in your conventions, mechanics, or punctuation. You could have incorrect spelling, but it would be on a word perhaps that was well above your grade level, that beyond what you would be expected to know how to spell. You should not be spelling any word at your grade level incorrectly. So you could get 5 points if you basically stay as a 6, but maybe there's a little lapse in your organization or lapse in your development. It is a complete thought, but maybe it lacks support or command of the language, where it's not as colorful or as descriptive. It's a little bit more simple. It does follow correct conventions with mechanics and grammar, and again, no spelling errors that are appropriate to your grade. So that's how you would get 5 points. 4 points, you're still going to be focused, but it may bring in an unrelated topic. You're talking about the best summer vacation you ever had, and you do bring in, and then my dog ran off and I had to chase him down the street, and then you're back at the mountains again. So if you stray off, it's going to drop you down some points. It feels like a complete story, but not totally. Like there could have been a little bit more. There's an ending, but there could have been a little bit more. There's variation in sentence structure and very simple use of conventions and mechanics. To get 3 points, your paper needs to be focused, but it does contain lots of unrelated or unnecessary information. You're talking about the best vacation of your life. You don't need to talk about the new chair that your mom just bought and put in the living room. So you don't want to have unnecessary information. It's going to immediately drop you down to a 3. If it doesn't feel complete at the end, you didn't bring it to a great conclusion. There is support, there's details given, but it's not as organized and clear. You show the knowledge, you use correct grammar, correct mechanics, and your common words are spelled correctly. Again, what grade level you are in, then that would be appropriate. To get 2 points, which you don't want, you want way more than that. Your writing is related to the topic, but includes a lot of unrelated material. It veers way off topic at some points. Maybe even one of your details is totally off topic. It does not feel complete when it's read. It lacks support. It may seem illogical, vague, inappropriate, as far as it just doesn't feel right. It would contain errors in your grammar, your mechanics, and some commonly used spelling words of your age bracket would be misspelled. To get 1 point, you've only minimally addressed the topic. Your writing is very fragmented. It doesn't make sense. You haven't used wonderful descriptive words in your vocabulary. There are extreme errors within your conventions, mechanics, and spelling for age appropriateness. And it is quite possible that it could be totally not scored. Your paper would totally not be scored if what you wrote about had nothing to do with what the prompt asked you to write. So if the prompt asked you to write about your most memorable summer vacation, and you began writing about your favorite TV show, then that they're not going to score that. If you simply just write the prompt that says, please write about your most fantastic summer vacation, if you just rewrite those words and stop, it won't be graded. If you don't write at all, if they cannot read your handwriting, so you need to practice good penmanship. If it cannot be understood, if it's incomprehensible, if whatever you've written just cannot be understood, it won't be graded. And if it doesn't contain enough writing to grade, it will be unscorable. So I just wanted to give you just this little bit of information as we begin these writing prompts within our classroom.